Hello viewers and welcome to my new video. Today I would like to talk to you about the importance of recording and then releasing your music. And the reason I'm saying this is from my own experience, by the way. Since I've ever been in my sort of first band, I've always been very keen on recording. That's important, the first step, recording the music so that there's an actual record of what you're doing. And it's important because it's also a snapshot in time. It's like a timestamp, because you might be doing something very unique. You play with people you may not be playing with in a few years time, and at the time you don't know this, but if you don't capture what you're doing, it's almost like it hasn't happened. It's like some people say, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. But in the same way, I think same could be said about music. If you're an artist, if you're a songwriter, if you're a musician, if you create something together, or either on your own as a solo artist or together with your bandmates, make sure you capture that, because you want to have that. And the second important thing is to share that with other people, because the moment you have it, the moment you've recorded something, actually you want to kind of do it as early as possible. So I've come across people in the past of a view that as a band you should first practice, rehearse a lot, all the different songs. And okay, maybe in the older days, yes, I agree that the sort of financial aspect perhaps of recording music was maybe greater, especially if you wanted to record it to a standard that could actually be then released. So i.e. go to a recording studio and pay for that time, pay a mixing engineer, pay a mastering engineer to kind of do all that for you, so that song or that record, that EP or that album is ready to be released. These days it's a lot easier to actually record your music by yourself. You can get an audio interface, you can get some microphones, you can kind of learn yourself, because there's obviously the digital audio workstations now that you can learn. You can actually create all these things and kind of learn as you go along, obviously, and do it by yourself. However, even in the sort of mid 90s, when I was kind of in my first ever band, and I was and we were having rehearsals, and we would bring this old kind of cassette player / recorder. It was actually a Polish cassette player called Kasprzak, and you may want to find that. It probably will exist somewhere on the web if you type it in, and I will leave the name of it actually in the description as well, so you can find the actual spelling of it. But ultimately, this is what it was. We used to just bring empty cassettes, blank cassettes, put them in that, record. So we would come to a rehearsal room and record our songs, and that was brilliant, and sometimes what was really interesting was that in those very early days, we really didn't care, there was no streaming platforms, there was nothing like that, there was no internet, never mind streaming platforms at that time. And we would just maybe at the time, share some of that music with our friends or whatever, because it was recorded. And it's almost, for me, it's like if a band or an artist don't record music and don't have anything to show for themselves, almost. It's like, what are you doing? Because you really need to, that's your showcase, isn't it? That's kind of like, what are you about? Well, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, I create this, I create that, so it's like, well, show me, play to me, where's your music, where can I find your music, especially these days, because people are, if I said to somebody these days, well, you know what, I'm Bartek, I make music. Oh, is your music on Spotify, or is your music on this platform, or where can I listen to you, where can I check you out? If it's there, you just give them the link like that, and it's basically sorted. There you go. Here's the link. Go and listen. Go and check my music videos here on my YouTube channel. I run a YouTube channel. I've got all these, all this presence effectively online, and on social media and so on and so forth. So from my perspective, my desire has always been record, and I've always been a fan of making records as well. I've made quite a few, which I'm very proud of, with a few bands that I've been in. And I would recommend this to anybody. Really, the moment you get together, say you get together with your mates or whatever, you're in a band, you go into the rehearsal room. Yes, spend some time, maybe say 6 months. Spend 6 months on rehearsing, writing songs, rehearsing songs, getting them to a point where they're ready. Make them ready. Be well rehearsed, yes, but give yourself a deadline. 6 months. In 6 months, we're gonna go either in the studio, or we're gonna bring some recording equipment to our rehearsal room. We're going to record this. In the meantime, nothing is stopping you from recording demos. Yes, if you're a loud band and you want to just record on your phone, it probably is not going to be the best quality, because it will be very distorted. I know this from my own experience. But these days, and that's been the case for years now, I think, you can get some of these devices, that they are specifically designed for recording band rehearsals, with like 2 mics, and effectively they are supposed not to create that sort of distorted effect, because they can cope with those, for example, frequencies they go into them. So you can get one of them. They're not actually that expensive these days, I think, and you can record your demos. You can record things early on. Actually, there's another opportunity these days. Some rehearsal rooms now offer a rehearsal room with a recording facility. So effectively, you can hire a room for 4 hours, your rehearsal room where you will be rehearsing. So pay for those 4 hours. You go in there. In the room, you already have the recording equipment. You have microphones. You can actually record your rehearsal. You can record your session. So that's amazing, really, isn't it? It's almost like a live recording, but it's a rehearsal recording. Some people even might want to release that, because that might be like a unique thing, and again, that's what I mean about capturing that, capture your sound, capture what you're doing, because you never know, especially these days. I don't know, people make these NFTs. I know that some people are saying this is a bit of a gimmick and a bit of a scam, and I have my own views on this, but that's not for this video. But you never know where things might go in the future anyway. But if you keep something like this and you become sort of a bit better known or whatever, you keep that in your, in your secret stash, or on your somewhere on your computer, I don't know, on your memory stick or whatever. You have those things that you've recorded. It was like a unique thing. You did it in a rehearsal, you did it somewhere else, and you keep that, you keep hold of it. It's invaluable, because one day it might become actually something of great value to people. Maybe your fans will want to hear, when they were writing this album, for example. I don't know, it's like just to give you that, I don't know, Green Day, yeah, right? We're writing this American Idiot album or whatever, and then maybe, I think it was like they use these, like, I don't know if that's the same band, I might be wrong about this, but they use like their own sort of handwritten sort of lyrics that you just copied and put on that sort of cover or whatever. And it's like that, isn't it? It's like keeping hold of these things that you've done, and then one day, you never know, because, and again, it's something nice, isn't it, to offer to people, but also for yourself. It's like I said, it's like a timestamp almost, that it allows you to listen back to what you've done. Oh wow, back in 1995, I had this rehearsal with those guys. I'm not playing with them anymore, and we did that music, and I can listen back to it. This is pretty amazing, because we recorded it on a cassette at the time, and it's there, it's available to me. Or something else, even a modern day time, I can get a device, record my sort of rehearsal. I can hire a room, like I said. But I think it's very important, 1, you record yourself, 2, you share that with people. You have it available, you share it with people, you do it at the time when it's right. Don't wait like a couple of years or whatever. Do it, give yourself a deadline, I don't know, spend 6 months on rehearsing a record or whatever, record it, have it, release it, do the next one, whatever. But at least I think that if a band doesn't have anything released or they don't have any recorded music, it's like they don't exist, practically speaking. But let me know in the comments if you have a different view on this subject. You might do, and I will be, keen to read your comments and reply to your comments, and maybe we can have a bit of a debate and a conversation in there. And remember to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video.